I don't know why, but I just feel like making a video. It's honestly it's starting to become like the most cliche thing ever. So, today is an absolutely beautiful day. It's Sunday morning. On Sunday morning. Love No Doubt's old stuff. Oh, my rice is just done. Cool. No Doubt and Gwen Stefani. They had some good stuff, man. They had such good stuff. You look up at the breeze on Sunday morning. I should have walked away. If you haven't heard Sunday Morning yet by No Doubt, oh, I'm about to go listen to it now. It's such a good jam. Yeah. So I was just in my room and I was cooking. And I was putting tomato sauce in, my Tupperware bowls like I do every day. Well, just one Tupperware bowl. And I was looking at the window. And I was like, God, it's so gorgeous. I gotta get up and look at the window more. So I got up and I started looking at the window. And there was this man. And he had one of these parachute motor propellered machines that just flies through the air. And he was just looking at the sunrise. And he was probably going over into the river and into the ocean because he was headed in that direction. I thought to myself, that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. So then I decided to, and then a couple of birds flew by and I was looking at these clouds. And I thought about this movie, Out of Africa. It was about Robert Redford falling in love with somebody, I believe. And it was about the British trying to control Africa at the time. And I thought about how the people at the time, the sky looked like the sky that I was looking at this morning kind of looked like the sky in those movies from Out of Africa, that movie. And I said, wow, it's like time doesn't really change, I guess. And there's this one scene where there's this man sitting with Robert Redford and this woman, I believe, and he was talking about how the tribal people were getting in the way, or whatever the case may be, I think. And I thought about how I'm such a peaceful person, and I enjoy talking to people from all areas of the world, that I would, even if I was a white person at that time, I would most likely go out and walk out into the tribal areas and just hang out with the tribal people. Do what the tribal people do. And then I thought, well, they might kill you. And I was like, well, I think people back then, they were kind of more worried. The white people were more worried about controlling the African people and the problems that the villagers and the African tribes were giving them. And the tribal members were worried about the white people trying to control their land. Such conflicts. Just to control people and to control land. And then to get back to normal society, well, current day life, as I was looking at these clouds in this light blue sky that reminded me of the movie Out of Africa, these birds just flew by. And there were egrets, these type of egret birds, these beautiful white birds that always pick at bugs in my lawn. And I gotta go outside. I was like, I gotta go outside. So I went outside and I just looked around. And it was absolutely beautiful. And then there was this bird, big, ginormous bird. We have huge birds in Florida that are massive. And the bird flew by me, and it flew towards the river. And I was just looking at the bird, and I thought about being that bird, and and for a moment I felt like I was that bird, and I was trying to see through the eyes of that bird and become that bird, which is a very Buddha type thing to do, like a past life type thing to do, or a future life thing to do. And then I thought about how if it was a past life or a future life, and if I was that bird, or if I could be that bird, or if I was that bird, even now, if you want to get really crazy with it. How interesting it would be. Such a stillness to this life, such a beauty to this life that I absolutely love. I absolutely love being this old, and I absolutely love being this age, going through what I've gone through. Seems like everything's passing and everything's healing. You know, I know you're only supposed to compare yourself to who you were yesterday. You should never compare yourself to who you were 3 months ago, or a year ago, or 10 years ago. But if I could compare myself to who I was 5 months ago or 6 months ago, I was in shambles. Like I wasn't seeing clearly as I am now. And the two things that really, really impacted my life were working on my healing process every day, which I talked about in Fighting Off Depression 1, and listening to those people that I listed in Fighting Off Depression number 1 in the description underneath. The Figuring Out Depression video number 1. Those lists of people have helped me tremendously. And having loving relationships. You know, my friend Steve has been a great help. My friend Mariana, she's been a great help. Just having people that will go through life with you and help you heal and be loving and positive and caring towards you. That don't put you down but lift you up. So important. So important. It's such a beautiful life. And as I was outside, about 10 minutes ago, I was, before I jumped here and filmed this video, because I was like, I just want to go film a video. I thought about how important it is to jump outside of your normal routine and do something adventurous and new, and jump outside of yourself and slow down to just slow down and not be so fixed in your routine all the time. Because usually instead of jumping outside and being with nature and having that image or that concept that I had with that bird flying, that big bird flying, and thinking that I was that bird, which was very interesting. If I wouldn't have been outside, if I wouldn't have jumped out of my normal routine, I would have been in here. And I wouldn't have been filming this video, and I would have been stuck in that routine, and I wouldn't have experienced life the way I'm experiencing it now, which is a beautiful experience. I would have just been stuck in my normal routine, which is still a nice experience, but it wouldn't have been as beautiful. So sometimes it's nice to jump outside yourself and try new things and become a new person. Change just a little bit. And of course you need to have good time management to do so, so you don't feel controlled by time, or that you have to be rushed around because you're being controlled by time. So you need to wake up early or go to bed early, or have good time management so you don't have to worry so much about, oh, am I running late, am I running late? You could actually, instead of having that worry or that stress in your life about being controlled by time because you're not managing your time properly, you can have more opportunities when you can jump outside yourself and try new things and have new adventures, slow down even, not be controlled by time, because by having the good time management you are controlling time, and you can live a more loving and more grateful life when you can be connected to the blue sky and the light and everything around you. Such a beautiful life. God, I love it so much. Alright, everybody, thank you so much for everything. Van Morrison rules. And if you get a chance, listen to Van Morrison's song Celtic New Year. Van Morrison, Celtic New Year on YouTube. Very good song. And if you get a chance, listen to No Doubt's Sunday Morning, since it's Sunday. Have a good day, guys. Thank you so much. Peace.